Welcome to this special interview brought to you by TECspire, a platform dedicated to empower youth innovators and share inspiring stories in the world of technology and creativity. Today, we are pleased to speak with Sachchit, an incoming senior at Texas Online Prep School. Sachchit has already achieved incredible milestones, including developing AI-powered early cancer detection tool, winning national competitions for his tech apps, learning robotics teams to world championships, and founding nonprofits. Also, while balancing full tennis schedule and earning Eagle Scout honors. Sachit, thank you for joining us today. Feel free to add anything on.
Thank you, Ashwita, for having me, and I'm really happy to give this talk. So just a little bit about myself. I love tech. I love anything tech related, especially tech related to healthcare. And like Ashwita was mentioning, I actually created an AI cancer detection model that detects 7 types of rare cancers through MRI scans as well as genetic data. And I discovered 2 novel biomarkers in one of the rare cancers. And actually, I presented my studies in Japan at the International Youth Research Conference at Tokyo University. So, um, I also have my own nonprofit, like she was telling about. It's called Youth Opportunities in Tech Innovation. And basically, what we do is that we teach students computer science, and then we let them build real world applications for other businesses and organizations for free, completely for free. And we created a lot of big organizations websites, for example Project Surya and other websites like YMP. So we created really good websites as well. And we're actually hosting an AI machine learning workshop right now, and if you guys are interested, you guys can join that as well. Yeah, so just a little bit, that was just a little bit background about myself. And let me just tell how I got really into tech. So as a kid, like, I was really interested in technology, and I really wanted to do something because I was always like curious, asking questions, and I just found technology to be really it's like fascinating, and that's how I got into like robotics. And then in high school, I learned more about programming, and that's how I got into like machine learning, AI, and then I found an interest around 10th grade in the healthcare field, and that's why I wanted to pursue AI and healthcare, and that's my goal in the future as well. So, yeah, that was just a little blip about me. Is there anything else, Ashwita?
That was great. I just to add on to that, as you said, you had a cancer detection. How was it the process of getting the research and all the materials you need, or the knowledge in a sense, to be able to create this and detect cancer?
So, building the cancer detection model was a very lengthy process. It was my first time actually learning about machine learning, and I kind of learned as I went. Um, so first, I had to understand the type of data I was collecting, and finding data was probably the hardest part. It took me several months to get, but I connected with doctors in India and Pakistan to find medical data for my cancer detection model. So after connecting with these doctors, talking with them and getting the data, I also scavenged the internet for really healthy data as well. And I use this really good data bank for genetic data. It's called TCGA. And I used a lot of the TCGA genetic data over there. It was really helpful. So I programmed it after that using Python and R programming. So that's kind of how I went on in developing the models.
How long did this process take for you?
Okay. My first year, I only concentrated on adrenocortical carcinoma, a very rare cancer in the adrenal glands, and I only concentrated on MRI images. And in my second year, I expanded to the 6 secondary tumors that can arise from this rare cancer, and I expanded to genetic data, and that's how I discovered the 2 novel biomarkers. So in total, 2 years, my entire project.
Over the time of this project and this long time, what kept you going on to this journey?
Well, I was really passionate because I had a very close relative pass away because of cancer. So I wanted to do something that will prevent others from going through the same struggles I've faced. And I know that cancer is a leading global problem, and I wanted to prevent as much people from passing away because the point of this AI model is to predict the cancer in its earlier stages where it's much easier to treat, because many radiologists they overlook these types of rare cancers because it's not often you see like adrenal cortical carcinoma. So it's only detected when it gets large enough. So that's why it's really important to have these types of frameworks to detect these types of rare cancers early on where it's much easier to treat.
Yeah, that's very passionate, and yeah, I can see why you're so passionate for that. Going on to my next question, I see that you did online school. How did that impact the way your journey went through high school?
Yeah, so initially did online school to do full-time tennis, and online school has been a great benefit for me. It gives me a lot more time to do research. I'm not just doing this research project, I'm also doing research with SMU, like quantum chemistry research over there. And then I've recently published a research paper with a professor at Duke and as well as my friend over here. And then I've also done, research with other universities. So it's really given me the opportunity to, develop my research, focus on businesses. Like I also have a business upcoming called PandaByte, which is a computer science game education app that teaches students computer science through games. And I'm also like created all these different initiatives that help people. So it really gave me that flexibility to do so, as well as have the same clubs that every other school does, like BPA, Business Professionals of America or Future Business Leaders of America. We have all these clubs, and it's all the same except that I have more flexible scheduling, and I can work on much more things compared to if I go to in-person school.
Okay, that sounds amazing. And can you explain in simple terms how AI modeling compiled in MRI imaging in general data can predict cancer?
Yeah, sure. So, how AI, machine learning, deep learning, how this works is that it's not like traditional programming, right? Where you're writing each if statement for each type of possibility. If we do this for types of prediction models like this, it would take, forever. It's basically impossible to find each type of feature, right? So what AI does is that whenever you create the model, you're giving it a database. Okay, for example, you're giving it a cancerous database and a non-cancerous database, and then the model learns and adapts just like the human mind. So I'm using neural networks, so it works kind of how our neurons work, and what it does, right? It learns from the data. So how much data you give it, it learns from it. So I also use the custom hyperparameter optimized CNN model. So what that means is I just created an optimization framework that gets the most optimized hyperparameters to tune the model perfectly where it will accurately predict the cancer. So all it really is that you're feeding a machine learning model some data, and the machine model learning model is learning from the data, just like how a human would learn from a textbook. And then it would give out whenever you give it new data, it will tell you if it's cancerous or not. So it works sort of like the human brain, just like we learn from AP Bio textbooks and then we take the test. That's totally new data. It's the exact same process.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Next, I wanted to ask you, over this period of time, since before high school, middle school to high school, what was the biggest challenge you faced in your career?
Before high school?
Or during, before, either one?
Okay. Hmm. Biggest challenge in my career. Um, I would say that the biggest challenge I faced in my career was when I was initially starting off learning all of these things while balancing tennis. Like it was really hard to do that because I would come out of tennis, playing like 4 to 5 hours a day, exhausted, and then I would come home to get my work done. It was really a struggle to, shift quickly from one thing to the another because I always had tournaments every week and I had to focus on both things and I had to like do correct time management or else it's going to be difficult to do all of these things. So balancing my work, school, tennis, all of these different things was really a big challenge for me. I really struggled with it initially, but once you're dedicated enough, you're able to push through these struggles and shift from different thing to different thing. So yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Panda Byte and what inspired you to make that?
Yeah, sure. So what inspired me to make this was actually I was at a program at UCLA called Civics Unplugged, where we were doing some cancer, learning about cancer and doing some research there. It was like a 1 week program, I'm pretty sure. And while I was talking with some friends over there, some students, we were just tossing around ideas, and then randomly just it just sparked in my mind that I should create like an app that helps people with computer science and things like this. So kind of sparked from that like discussion, and I wanted to pursue that even further. So that's kind of how it came about. It just was a random thought at like 3 a.m., with no sleep, and I really wanted to pursue it after I was thinking about it. So yeah.
In your mind, what's the definition of an entrepreneur? Because you have done this many amazing things. What, in your opinion, does an entrepreneur have to have?
An entrepreneur, well, an entrepreneur has to have that confidence and that mentality that they can do anything. Even if they don't have the skills, the entrepreneur can, find people that have the skills, right? They never doubt themselves, even in situations that they don't know anything. By exhibiting a sense of confidence, they're able to put their best foot forward and bring on investors and different things like that, right? It's just how you present yourself is very important to be an entrepreneur. And then if you can present yourself well, even if you don't have a good product, you're selling yourself, not the product. If they see that you have this mission and goal, well, then more people would buy your product compared to this is a very good product, but you're not putting yourself very confidently, then people are going to doubt you. They're going to be like, oh, is it safe? Oh, is it really going to work? I don't think it's going to work, right? But if you're confident, you can sell almost anything.
Thank you. Going on to that, if most people in this world we are scared of going public speaking, what in your sense made you not fear going on stages talking to millions of people?
Yeah, so for me, I've always like developed this, ever since like I was young, my parents always pushed me, hey, go talk with this adult about your merit badge requirements for Boy Scouts. And I would just always be shy. I didn't want to talk to anyone, even like my tennis coaches. I was really shy about discussing about some different techniques, but I've always been pushed into situations that I was uncomfortable with, and that really taught me how to like, speak really confidently anywhere on the fly. And I think the many situations that I put myself into, like this, really helped with that. So it's always good to be uncomfortable because you're practicing, so you will become comfortable. So yeah.
And once in your career, what's the time or place where you felt accomplished that you knew you had impact?
Mhm. That is a good question. So I feel like a lot of areas I had an impact, and if I immediate impact, I would say, is the clubs that I created in the different initiatives. So, for example, I created a Gavel Club, which is basically a club associated with Toastmasters, which is like a speech and debate kind of club.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of students had brilliant ideas in my community, and they were just very shy to open up about them. So I wanted to create a club that can help these students, speak better. And now that we're almost like a year old, the club, I noticed that students that were really shy, in the beginning, were now giving excellent speeches, and I see them participating more in like competitions, group discussions, and they've even told me how much the club has helped them. And as well as with my nonprofit, like I see these kids learning and gaining that experience and building their resume. And I noticed a lot of students in my AI machine learning workshop, they're asking a lot of questions, meaning that they're actually paying attention to the content I'm giving, and I can see them like learning more, improving. So just all the clubs and initiatives I'm creating and have created, I feel like that has made an impact on the community I'm with. And also, like, whenever I talk about my cancer research project to professors, students, and whenever I travel to go present at like research conferences and different things like that, I feel like I'm spreading the word on these rare cancers and I'm impacting more people to do more research on these types of global issues. So that I would say multiple areas I'm impacting, so local as well as global levels.
You said you had a Toastmasters club. What did you do to start it? Like, what resources did you take?
So I just went on the official like Gavel Club, website, looked at the requirements to start a Toastmaster Club, Gavel Club, right? And then I just started one. I sent out forms to get people interested. We have like around 20 to 30 members right now. So we have a lot of members in our Gavel Club, and I just sent it out to people that I know that would benefit as well as in many groups. And I just try to outreach as much as possible. And then through the Toastmaster Club that I have, I work towards certifications and different things like that. So the students are getting the benefit along with learning about speaking and different things.
Thank you for that. To continue on, if you had to give one quote that inspired you in your life, what would it be?
One quote. Let's see.
Or a sentence that meant a lot to you?
Okay. Well, this was something my dad always told me. He was like, to be comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable, right? You have to always put yourself into uncomfortable situations because that will teach you a lot more than just being comfortable all the time. If you're comfortable all the time, you're not really learning anything new. But if you're uncomfortable in different situations, you're always going to learn and grow and succeed. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. That's all I have for you today. And I hope everyone who's watching this is getting inspired by what you said, because I certainly have. So thank you.